Hi guys, so this is going to be a collective reading today. I have some rain noises going on in the background with my hatch, so I'm hoping that it's not going to be distracting, so just testing some things out. So all right, today we are going to use the Thoth Tarot as well as the Mary L Tarot. So, oh yeah, and then the messages, we're going to keep all that the same, doing everything from scratch for the collective. Okay, so for the collective who's watching, what do they need to know right now for their highest timeline? The collective who's watching, what do they need to know right now for their highest timeline? One more. Ooh, got the Emperor card. Okay. I actually pulled it up, two cards. Okay, let's keep the two cards. So we got the Emperor, and we got the Seven of Water, Seven of Cups. Okay. With the Eight of Swords on the bottom. Okay. Being careful about something. Okay. Now we have the Mary L Tarot. So what does the collective who is watching need to know right now for their highest timeline? It's a collective who's watching right now. Okay. We have on the bottom, we have the Five of Swords. My goodness. We have some intense energy. In the last collective reading, these two guys came out. Wow. Okay. So we have two cards from this deck that came out and two cards from that deck. This is going to be a bigger reading. We'll see what the message is. Usually the messages determine the length of the reading. I'm getting some pretty lengthy collective readings lately. Okay. So for the highest timeline of whoever is watching, what do they need to know right now for their highest timeline? All right. Oh, not too bad. Not too bad. Okay. All right, let's get into this. Okay, so we have some pretty powerful cards here, as well as some pretty, like, normally not so fun cards. And okay. Ooh. Okay. So, yeah, the King of Swords and the King of Cups came out together in the last collective reading. Very interesting. Very, very interesting. So, being the top of the suit, so that's also... So, the kings are the tops of their suits. They've reached the peak of energy. They hold the peak of something, like the peak of emotion. Like, they have a responsibility for that suit. They're able to see over everything. They've climbed the mountain. But here we have the Emperor, which is all four kings. He's the peak of all four suits together. Or at the peak of the kingly energy. Whereas the Empress is all four queens and the peak of her energy. Okay. Ooh. Yeah. Okay, so the two kings are clarifying the Five of Swords. And this is such a beautiful Five of Swords card. Normally this is one of the cards that gets a bad rap, usually, where you basically, it's not allowing another person to speak or have their side heard. It's basically like saying something and walking away and not letting someone be able to justify themselves or, you know, have a say. You know, it's kind of like, I don't know why this came to mind, but it's kind of like when someone passes away and then everyone has something to say about it and they don't have the ability to defend themselves. It's kind of like that weird energy. But you can put this into other situations in life. Just like, right when I said that, I was staring at the lamb. This lamb energy. Yeah. That can harm people's innocence. That can harm... Okay, we're just gonna kind of, yeah. Okay, so I already show these two kings pretty thoroughly. Cover up his part here. So we have the King of Swords and the King of Cups. Yeah, peak emotion, peak knowledge. We're going to see where that goes, because I don't want to draw in from the other reading too much. I feel like this has something to do with the other reading, because both of them are here side by side. So we're going to see what is needed, and yeah. Okay, but they're clarifying this, oh, is her, okay, she's covered. This Five of Swords. I just love the Mary L. Tarot. It's my favorite deck. Just such a beautiful card. Okay, so this is, you can also see that there's like someone supporting her here. And she's holding a child, a newborn, it looks like. You can't see the person that's supporting her, but clearly she's being supported in something. Supported in her words. Yeah, we're going to leave that like that for right now. Okay, then we have the Emperor. So I was already kind of talked about this for a second. He's the top, he's considered, like, you could say, the divine masculine. He's all four kings. So he's the King of Cups, he's the King of Air, he's the King of Pentacles, and he's the King of Fire. Yeah. Like, he holds the ultimate say, you could say, even above all the kings. Like, the kings are the peak of their suit, but he's like the one that the kings report to in a way. Yeah. We have that lamb here. I was just mentioning the lamb. So that's even more powerful. Yeah. Like, you could even say, like, this is like the president of over like even a nation. Like the person who all the other leaders report to. Like, he has like an ultimate say over all the suits. Well, we'll see what that's about. We'll keep going. Okay. He's sitting here with the Seven of Cups. So I actually got a very different energy with this card very recently. So we're going to see how that ties into this reading. But typically, it's like overindulgence. It's like eating too much. It's like, whereas like you normally have like your routine, and then like you have a day where you just kind of like, you know, you eat too much, you know, and it can be that. A couple months ago, I actually got this card, and it was right after I had eaten too much food and I got sick. And it just, anyways, I got this card, and then I had a stomach ache for several days. It was awful. I couldn't eat anything for days. I think I actually had a stomach bug. I don't know, but I just remember I ate too much, and wasn't able to sleep for days. What was that? Is something flickering, or is that my eyes? Okay. Okay, so yeah, so this is definitely overindulgence. I don't know what that was about. Sorry, guys. Okay. Okay. Then we have it clarifying the Eight of Swords. This can be interruptions, like literal, an interception. I just recently watched something where someone was trying to, it was from a show, where someone was trying to keep two people apart from each other, and they were intercepting their letters and preventing, this was like back in the day when pretty much the only way of communication was when people wrote snail mail. This is that energy, very much that energy. Uh, there's some harsh energy here, because even underneath this card, there's a harsh energy. I'm not sure what's going on, but we're gonna clear this. We're gonna get some clarity. Okay, so then let's do the messages. So we have race, Game Boy, made it to the top, Sagittarius, here, Leighton Meester, Aquarius, Mars, rock climb, a world / society evolves based upon need. Okay. There's a lot that's going to be said here, because we have a couple different things that relate to some other readings that we've had these past 2 weeks. So, okay, so we have race here, right under the Five of Swords. A race to something. I've been watching a lot of like horse racing and stuff. Not that I necessarily support that. I do in some ways, but that's not what this is about. So, oh, that's almost like a Five of Swords energy. Okay, race. So why do I not support that? Why? Because I feel like I just brought something up, and then I shared something, and then immediately I was going to take my opinion and walk away with it. That's Five of Swords energy. Almost like that's also another thing Five of Swords is. Basically stating something and drawing someone in, and then walking away. Almost, but like in a trickery way. That's opposite. This energy, that's why I love the Mary L tarot. It just has a completely different spin on traditional tarot. You see here, she's supported. That's exactly opposite of the other energy. This is a family right here. Clearly it's about her and her child, but you can tell she's deeply supported. She has all this owl energy around her, all these eyes, this wisdom. So I'm trying to determine if me talking about like horse racing is even important here, or if that was just like for a message. We'll see. We'll keep coming back around to that. We'll see what if that plays any role in that in this. But race could also mean like someone's actual like race. You know, like within society, you know, black, white, like whatever your terms are for it. We have unity here and not separation, which is a very important distinction. Okay. Then we have Game Boy. Gosh, I'm starting to get hot again. Whenever I have this light on, it doesn't matter how cool my room is. This lamp, it just puts off a lot of heat. So I'm gonna be dabbing my face again till I figure out something else. Okay, so Game Boy. Games. Going into something, going into another world, being like transported into something, but you can come right back out of it. This was in Cancer's reading. I believe my very first reading that I did for Cancer. Game Boy. We were talking about exploring things. We were talking about Pokemon as well. Like being able to go into a game. We were even talking about like prom. Almost like stepping into like the past or like role playing. But you can come right back out of it. So Game Boy. All right. Made it to the top. And it's literally sitting right underneath both of the kings. So both of these kings, if this is significant for you in some way to do with the other reading, both of these kings have made it to the top. Whatever that means for you. So the King of Swords made it to the top intellectually, is in possession of the knowledge needed for something. And the King of Cups has made it to the tops, or you could even say like made it to the depths, with the emotion like of something, in possession of the emotion of something. And they're both responsible. They've hit the peak of their suit, the peak emotion, the peak knowledge, and they have a responsibility to use it correctly and not wield it in a bad way, because they're entrusted with their energy. They're entrusted, like the King of Swords, he's now entrusted to speak the absolute truth. Doesn't matter if it's awkward or uncomfortable. He's required and entrusted to speak it. The full truth and nothing but the truth. He has the ultimate say. You could even say this is like a judge, like, you know, giving the final say on something. So he's needing to be in possession of all the knowledge, and the king is. That's why he's a king. The King of Cups, same with the King of Cups, with emotion, the depth of emotion, emotionally solid. He's capable, if there's one card in this entire deck, he's capable of holding the whole weight of the ocean, you could even say. Like this is take the full waves of something, the full hurricane of emotion. He's able to be solid. Let it wash over him. That's what came through in the reading. The song Wash by John Bellion is this song that reminds me of the King of Cups. Every time I watch it, I love that song. Just like letting all the emotion wash over him, like not being like taken by the waves or distracted. He's able to take the full force of water, the emotion. Okay. Then we have the Emperor here. So the Emperor. Oh, I was doing the messages. Okay, so Sagittarius is sitting right below the King of Cups. Sagittarius. I think that was one of the last, yeah, it was the second to last video that I just put out. We're talking about Fenrir. The black wolf. And then Scorpio had the white wolf. There was like this union of the two. The black and the white wolf. And actually in the Cancer reading, I wore my black and white wolf, my shirt. Literally the black and the white wolf being one. Okay. But Sagittarius, Fenrir, something coming up from the depths. Oh, with the King of Cups. Emotion, something coming up from the emotional depths, washing over. So this is either you or this is someone else. These two kings, like they were playing different roles in the collective reading. So this is, yeah, it's going to be very different for everyone. Okay, we're going to keep going. I'm going to see what this has to do with. I don't want to go all into the entire Sagittarius reading. So, yeah, so we have, yeah, the Emperor, the peak. And in that reading, it felt like the King of, yeah, it felt like the King of Fire was there. And I was asking, where's the King of Pentacles? The grounding, the actual physical presence of something, like touching something, like, you know, but we have the Emperor here, which is all of that. It's the King of Pentacles and the King of Fire, including the King of Swords and the King of Cups in one. And we have here, right below it, here, hearing something, listening. Huh. It's, excuse me, it's sitting right underneath the shield, and Leighton Meester is sitting right underneath the lamb. Here the shield, here the protection. And then Leighton Meester is sitting underneath this lamb, and Leighton Meester just came out for the Libra reading. Leighton Meester, this innocence. What was I saying at the very beginning about the lamb? I forgot what I was saying. Okay, well, whatever that was about, Leighton Meester is connected to this. So in the Libra reading, like this could literally mean Leighton Meester, like the actual person, like checking her out, looking into her music. She was one of the main characters on Gossip Girl. It was pretty much like, I'm not going to get into the whole drama, but pretty much her and Chuck were like pretty much the, you know, whole show, and you know. But yeah, Leighton Meester. once again, I don't want to bring the entire Libra reading into here, so we're going to see what that's about, but it's sitting right here with this innocence. Yeah, okay. All right, now we have this, the Seven of Cups with Aquarius Mars sitting right underneath it. Okay. So overindulgence doesn't necessarily have to be a bad thing. Like, especially with a question that you're asking, it really depends on the question that you're asking. There's a lot of like being weary of something. And so I want to make sure that I'm not speaking ahead of myself. Since we have the Emperor energy here and we have all of this like weird energy bookmarking and everything, so being careful. I think that was one of the very first things I said when I saw like the cards. Being careful, cautious. Okay, so Aquarius Mars. So Mars energy can be it's, you know, it can be sexual, but it's also the energy of being assertive. The force that you're putting into the world, the actual action behind something. So it's the sun energy with the arrow shooting out. Your identity actually in action. You're like putting something actually into action. It's the movement of something, the fire, the insertion, like the, yeah. With it being Aquarius, so Mars was either just in Aquarius or it still is. I'm not, I haven't looked at the transits in a while. A couple weeks ago it was, at least, in Aquarius. Collective movement? I was gonna say collective aggression, but because Mars can be aggression on its like more ill-tempered way. Aggression, but collective humanity. I keep wanting to say human resources. I'm not quite sure what that's about. But Mars with that. Human resources. The movement of resources? On a wide scale even? Like Aquarius can be big energy. Movements, collectives, groups. Movement of groups. We'll keep coming back to that, but it's with this energy. Overindulging. This can mean very different things for different people. This could be like a good overindulgence, like a helpful something like because how it came in recently for me, I'm not going to go deep into what it was about, but it was basically why am I good at something for something else? That's all how I'm going to put it. Why am I good at something for something else? And I got this card because there's like an overindulgence, and it kind of came back to understanding how to deeply merge with something and then kind of go back into an individual space. And Aquarius, if anything, knows that deeply, like how to individuate, how to go right back into like its deep, like the deep parts of itself, and not get trapped in like other people's emotions. So, but it came through as like being able to just like deeply indulge in things because of the ability to be able to deeply individuate. We have the Aquarius energy right here with that, with the Mars. This, whatever Mars is representing for you right now, that's what this seems to be about. Okay, then we have rock climb. And whenever I see rock climb, I think of goats climbing rocks, like impossible like feats, but they can do it. They're like created to do that, how their hoofs are. They're able to like climb really, really steep cliffs and dams, even the young. Rock climb, and we have made it to the top, but these are on two different sides of the energy. So that's with the Mary L tarot with the two kings, and then rock climb is sitting here, sitting right between the Seven of Cups and the Eight of Swords. This rock climb, this overindulgence of something, whether that's good or bad, whatever it's representing to you. And then the Eight of Swords, some kind of like interference, blocking, something trying to even separate something else, confine and trap. But rock climb, climbing over it, flying over it. My hands are kind of doing that. And once again, this is about the water in the air again. We have this water in the air right here. And here we have the water in the air. Rock climb. This could literally mean about rock climbing to someone. Like this, watching like maybe rock climbing videos might be fun to do even. If you're in an Eight of Swords energy, if this is like literally like Eight of Swords, like feeling mentally trapped in something or confined, like maybe even just like watching videos of like people like adventure, or one of my favorite YouTube channels is Storror, Storror, and they do a lot of like rock climbing and adventure and parkour. And so maybe that just might be fun, like if you're feeling confined or something, just watching people do amazing things, you know, with their athletic ability. It might be something interesting. But we'll come back to that and see what that is about more, like if this is definitely, it feels more metaphorical, so we'll see. Okay, and then right below Eight of Swords, we have a world/society evolves based upon need. Yes. So that's kind of like the whole thing, like inventions come about because there's a need for it. That's why things are invented. But a world society evolves based upon need. I was just watching JFK videos earlier today, his inaugural speech. Ask not what your country can do for you, but what you can do for your country. We have Aquarius energy right here, which is very much like that kind of mindset. Ask not what your country can do for you, but what you can do for your country. If this is like in regards to something else, like a collective you're in, your city, your town, a group you're within, a family, ask that. That it just feels like that might be important right now. It sounds kingly. We're talking about that in that reading with the two kings, something being kingly, and that's a kingly thing to say. Yeah, because I said something earlier about the emperor. Like it can represent literally a president over a nation. And we're, yeah, talking about JFK here. The evolving of something, knowing that something new is needed. Whatever that is in regards to, knowing something new is needed. And understanding how to step up, what to look for, what to question, where to find your new answers. Like, yeah. Okay, so let's kind of go right back through it and see what else has kind of changed. So we have, yeah, with the Five of Swords, with this race, this could literally just mean like an actual race, like two people racing, or like a rat race, feeling trapped in a rat race. I'm more drawn to this being a unifying thing, though, not something that is separate. If you look here, like we could literally get down to like actual like people's race. You know, his skin color is different than hers. And there's unity here. It almost looks like they've created something new. They've unified something. This could literally mean like nation. Understanding the people trying to keep people separate, using like race wars, using the things that are painful, using wounds, using these things against other people, to fight other people's wars, to keep people separate, to keep people at odds with each other. But no, like that's what this energy is. It's like, no, we're not going to do that. We're going to find a way to come together. We're going to find a way to heal, and we're going to create something new from it. We see you. Look at all those owls. We see you. Okay, then we have Game Boy. And Game Boy is technically sitting between the Five of Swords and the King of Swords. So this is very much air. So Game Boy. Intellectual. Getting the knowledge needed. Seeking the knowledge out. Asking the questions. Even the awkward, hard questions. That is kingly. That's willing to find the answer regardless of what you find. That's knowing the truth and being worthy to find a truth. To hold it, to speak it. Game Boy. And then being able to just like come back into your reality. This could literally mean like, even like politically, being able to go on the other side and just seek out answers, like get answers, like ask questions, like ask, why does that person believe so passionately what they believe? You know, when I believe something completely different. Understanding people, humanize people. Like, know why they believe what they believe. Understand deeper why you believe what you believe. Like, is it something that you've been taught? Is it something someone else is telling you to fight for? Like, why do you believe what you believe? Kind of like asking that of other people. Yeah, like not speaking shit and then just walking away. That separates people. Like on the bad side of this energy. Like not letting people have a say. That separates people. It hurts people. It takes away the integrity of something. Unify, like just like choose something different. Choose a different course of action. Create something new. Be willing to like just change your mindset and just like, what is the actual truth? Regardless of what's being told to me, what is the actual truth? I'm willing to find it out regardless of what I find. Okay, so then we have made it to the top. Made it to the top with these two kings. Yeah. Maybe the other reading might be important for you to watch. You don't have to go there. Just there's a lot of more information on these two. And I really don't want to like hash out every single thing that I said, but it just made it to the top, made it to the peak, being worthy of the knowledge you hold, being worthy of speaking, of knowing that you did what you needed to do to find the truth, to find the answers, and being worthy to share what you have to share. Could feel like something like that. Okay, so then we have Sagittarius under the King of Cups. Like directly below the King of Cups. Even speaking your story, just sharing what you believe and allowing it to be critiqued, allowing it to be known. Like, you know, this is the thing, like, I don't feel like it's necessary to punish people for what they don't know. Because I feel like if you ask someone, they're willing to understand and seek out something. Because I feel like we're almost like so emotionally moved by what we believe. It's okay to be naive. It's okay to not have the answers. And it's okay to help other people like find the answers even. It's just like, it just reminds me, I've shared this story like maybe like a month or two ago, where I had some friends and they always felt the need to make me feel small when I didn't know something. And I feel like that's such a, it's not helpful. It's not helpful at all. Like making fun of someone for not knowing what they don't know when you wouldn't make fun of them for not knowing what they don't know, you know? And I just like, I feel like it's like, well, I'm willing to understand if you would tell me, but you just made fun of me. You just like completely tore me down for not knowing something. Like, and where I was willing to understand, and you kind of like broke that integrity and that trust there. Like, that's kind of what I'm seeing right here. Like, just humanizing people. That's just like it's okay to not know something. It's okay to be naive. It's okay to be open to learning if you don't know something or you've been conditioned to believe something. Like this could even be like with a family, like someone being raised a certain way and not having access to certain like knowledge or other people's like mindsets on things. You don't know people's backgrounds. You don't know the life that they've had, why they didn't have access to certain beliefs or mindsets or knowledge. Just being like more gentle with people. Sorry guys, I had to delete some things out of full memory, so I had to make some space. Okay, so we were moving on to the Emperor here, with Here and Leighton Meester sitting under this card. Something being worthy of the crown that they wear. Like a president being worthy of holding the position, like in whatever regards this is to, like within a club, a social group, whatever it is. Being worthy of the crown that it holds. Because we have the protection and the lamb here, which means doing right by the people, protecting the people, protecting the integrity of that which it's been given power to do. Listening to something. If this is someone else listening, what are they sharing? Asking questions. What are they protecting? What are the innocents here? Whatever this is in regards to. Listening to the protection, hearing whatever is being protected. And then with the latent meester. Okay, so that was with the Libra reading. We were talking about, it really kind of went back to, oh yeah, we were also saying, we were talking about Frodo and Sam. Carrying something for family or for people that you care about. Being willing to take the journey. That was what latent meester energy was coming through as. Being willing to carry something, like whatever this burden is, or like the ring, being willing to carry something to its full end. Yeah, we were talking about like knowing who's worthy, because obviously like burdens, that's not something that you want to carry alone. And if someone's not willing to take that journey with you and share the weight, that doesn't work. And so also knowing like the people that are willing to also carry the weight, that are also like knowing their intentions, knowing you could even say their worth. Like if someone's like along just for the fun and not willing to do any of the hard work or carrying some of the burdens, and you're literally like pulling the thinking about that one reading, a Pisces reading about a month ago, where there were two people. There was a guy literally carrying this huge weight on the back of a like this wagon, but instead of a horse, it was him carrying everything. And then you had this like goblin like creature standing next to him, just allowing him to carry the full weight of something. And this goblin, oh, interesting. It was staring at itself in the mirror. In the Cancer reading, we just had an energy staring at itself in the mirror, but it was very different. It was more understanding your worth where there wasn't worth before, or where you felt unworthy before. This is not that energy. This is a goblin energy, being rich with wealth or rich with something and just staring at itself, allowing other people to take its burdens, carry its weight. That's very different energy. That's completely opposite. Knowing who the right people are. Yeah, because I'm thinking about the Cancer reading. Like, that's completely different. Like, they were discovering, like, they had scars. At least in the image, it was a guy who had scars all over his face. And he was finally starting to love himself again and find acceptance within himself. Almost like yanking that mirror back from that goblin. Like the person carrying the full weight of everything, having to go through all the scars and everything because it's carrying all of the burden. Yanking that mirror back. Finding its worth. Look at everything that I did. Like this person, if this is you, like look at everything that I did. Look at what I've accomplished. I pulled this whole damn thing myself. You know, it could be like something like that. Knowing who is worthy of walking the path with you. You don't, this goblin energy, whatever that is, no thank you. But someone who's like a Frodo or a Sam, who's willing to share the burden, share the care. Yeah, like this friendship. It could represent something else to you. Like I said, this is something that I think about in regards to family. Like knowing what's worthy of being, like burdens are worthy of being carried for like other family members, or, you know. Okay, but Leighton Meester might just mean something else for you. Okay, and then we have Aquarius Mars here with the overindulgence of something. Yeah, this feels like it could go completely two different ways, depending on who is watching this. A collective burden, even, because I'm thinking Aquarius Mars being right underneath this could be a collective energy. This could even mean like getting rid of the extra weight, like people who aren't pulling their weight, who aren't contributing, who are weighing something down. That's what I'm feeling with this. This is another one of those cards that I don't like the traditional energy around it, because it's Venus and Scorpio. And if you really think about that, it's such a beautiful energy, intense, passionate love. You know, like that, and with Mars sitting right underneath it, it just can be like, just like what I was talking about earlier, like knowing how to indulge deeply in like love, you know, sex, like whatever this is for you, a project, something creative, and being able to kind of like step back and go back into like individuate. This isn't like leaving someone behind, like getting into, you know, we were talking about the toxic energy of the King of Wands, where it charms people into coming to it, uses it, and then it disregards it. We're not talking about that kind of bad energy. We're talking about like a formed partnership. Something that is, because we have the Emperor right next to it, something that is responsible, committed, worthy. Maybe that could be about finding someone, if this has to do with relationships, could just be about finding someone who is worthy of this love that you have, this kind of love that you want, who's not going to like run away or use you. I mean, this could be about like a project. You're passionate about like some kind of project you're working on, or something that you're wanting to create or build. Okay, then we have rock climb. Yeah, someone who can get to the top with you, even. Like worthy, someone who's not just going to be like, oh, that's too high, or that's too much hard work. You know, like someone who's a goat, like someone who's going to be able to climb with you, who's going to see the challenge as something beautiful. That's really what I'm getting from that. Sitting here between the Seven of Cups, Venus and Scorpio, and then the Eight of Swords, this interference. It's reminding me of that scene in is it Gentleman Jack that I just watched? I believe it was from Gentleman Jack, where people were trying to keep them separate. And stealing letters, and you know, it could be something very different for you. Someone interjecting, or something trying to keep something apart, because we have a world society evolves based upon need. So this could literally mean like even people trying to create things from evolving because they like the way that it is. Slowing down progress. Yeah. Yeah. With this like kind of presidential energy here, I'm going to say this again. It feels important. Ask not what your country can do for you, but what you can do for your country. I'm going to use this, I'm going to say it 2 more times with world and society. Ask not what the world can do for you, but what you can do for your world. Ask not what society can do for you, but what you can do for your society. Evolve based upon need. What is needed here? What does society need? What does our world need? How is that going to evolve? What are the needs? What are the inventions? And knowing these things that are trying to like throw wrenches into it, being aware of those things, knowing where they're coming from. So say, what is slowing the progress? What's interrupting? Yeah. Okay, so right underneath this card is the Five of Swords. This is the nasty Five of Swords. And then if you, on this other side, we actually have this beautiful Five of Swords on the other side of the bookmark. This unity. This is unity in creating something new. This is separating people, keeping people separated with like their mentality, keeping them at odds with each other to fight other wars that go way beyond us. Okay, guys, I think I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up. Go ahead and wrap this up. Unity. Delving into things, like even on like, you could say the opposite side of the fence. Knowing that you can come right back with where you're at. Climbing those mountains. Being willing to find the peak of something, the absolute truth of knowledge or emotion. Yeah, with the Sagittarius, that might just be a good, a video if you feel called to go watch the Sagittarius reading. That might help you with this King of Cups energy. Letting something wash over you. Feeling the full force of something. Okay, then we have here with the Emperor, just listening. Even like being quiet and just kind of like listening to your intuition. Like, what does the truth, what feels right even? Because I feel like sometimes when you just quiet your mind, you kind of like can have a feeling of what actually feels right, regardless of what's being said. Maybe not all the time, but like just kind of that just might be like an exercise to try out. Just kind of what feels right. And knowing your worth. Like knowing your worth as an Emperor energy. Like being worthy of something. Being worthy of like the knowledge you hold or speak. Being worthy of the emotion that you have and can give to other people. Being worthy of the resources and knowing how to distribute those. Like whatever resource means to you. And being worthy of your passion and your fire. Like how you use those things. Like, and not using them in a bad way, like charming people to get them to come in. Like using it, to me, it represents like standing. Walking your truth, passionately walking your truth. You're not having to coerce or charm people. You just are what you are. And that's really what brings people in. You just being who you are. You don't have to be anything else. It's going to bring the right people in. These Leighton Meesters, whatever that represents, these Frodos, these Sams. Knowing knowing what this overindulgence energy means for you. Like I said, it can mean very, very many different things for people. Just knowing, maybe understanding your overindulgence energy and your individuation energy. And yeah, what's worth climbing to the peaks of those like mountains for, those hard paths, and who's willing to do that with you, or who you're willing to do that for or with. Frodo and Sam. I gotta wrap this up. Yeah, and then this interruption. Excuse me. Interruption. I literally like felt like a hair or something was in my throat. Something to prevent you from even speaking, maybe. Speaking your truth. Claiming what's yours. You know. Yeah. Okay, guys. Yeah, I keep getting that feeling in my throat right now. Is there something else that needs to be said? Draw one more. Hold on. Draw one more. Oh, two came out. That one flew to the ground. Gizmo from Gremlins. Maybe check that out. I'm not going to go into that right now, but Gizmo from Gremlins. See what that's about. I don't know why I felt like... Okay. You know the truth. That fell to the floor, but I just pulled it up. Just felt like yeah. Gizmo from Gremlins, you know the truth. Something was blocking my throat, and I didn't know what that was. So I don't know if that has anything, yeah. All right, guys, I'm gonna go ahead and leave it here. I hope you found some answers, some questions to ask in your own life, some good alchemy, some things to look up. And I wish you well with whatever this is. Yeah, good luck.